welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I will be your host for today, tomorrow, for infinity and beyond. Because we're not in the Sun Realms, we're not in the Star Realms, because that's not a bitter topic at all with the next guest that I've got on. Yeah, we're going to be bringing up that stuff. We're going to be laying it. What's he going to say? We're going to be bringing our stuff to the table here? Oh, yes, we are. Because joining me today to talk all about his game thing that he's going to be bringing to Start Area Kick thing is he's maybe, I don't know if he's, I can't remember, I can't count, because he's either thing 10, thing 11, or he's thing 12 games.
I'm some sort of thing.
It's Sean Epperson.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Sean. Do you know what you do? See, when you get somebody that like disarms you completely at Star Realms all the time and you get them back on the show, then what you do is you disarm them straight away by making them laugh for 2 minutes before they come on. So when they first come on and they start to chat, they can't chat because they can't talk
Exactly.
properly. How you doing, son? You good?
I'm doing really great. It's been a very crazy week as we're getting ready for the Kickstarter that's coming up here very soon. 5 days away as at the time of this recording.
Yeah, I know. I might. It depends when I'm going to launch it. It might be another 30 days or so. It depends. Depends. You know, it depends on you, Sean. Depends on what happens in Star Realms, Sean.
Exactly.
Listen,
You're saying I need to throw the games. I see where you're leading here.
Saying that at all. There's a whole lot of editing that can go on. Let me just say that. There's a whole lot. Okay. Hello and thanks for joining us. Yeah, as I said, this is weird. I don't know where I'm going. Anyway, Sean's from Thing 12 Games, right? And Sean's got a Kickstarter coming out. But when me and Sean have this continual conflict going on Star Realms, all the time, and all the time, Sean continually beats me. So he's now decided that he's going to come on somebody's show who he continually beats at Star Realms, and then he's going to hand over his audio file, and he's going to really think that I'm not going to do anything with it. That's a brave man.
Well, it's kind of like, beating your server, that comes and takes your order, and then you're like, wow, I really hope they don't spit in my food.
Exactly. It's like, where are you going? I'm going to the toilet. What are you doing with that burger? Garnishing it.
You've had a couple of victories in Star Realms, so you're not doing terrible.
You can't really backtrack on this. You can't really backtrack on this. Last time we spoke, it was about Dice of Pirates, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly the game.
That was a long time. I mean, where are you with that now? Where are you with fulfillment and things like that on it?
That one's really close. We have some pictures that were sent to us from manufacturing. We had a couple of problems where the colors of items just weren't up to our expectation of quality. That's something that's very important to us. Like, we don't want to just, crap something out there, get it out there as fast as we can. Like, we want it to be good. And the original dice that they sent to us, the ship color, it was supposed to be brown, and it looked more like baby poo. So, that's not what we want people to associate with it.
There's kind of different levels of baby poo colour, though, because you've got was it the mercosium that you get at the beginning, which is just black tar,
right?
And then you remember that.
Oh yes.
That's an exciting day of being a parent. Oh, look at you! Look, they're so cute and they're so lovely, and oh my goodness, what's that? What is that thing?
Liquid evil coming out of your child. Yes.
It's like, what's this? It's like Alien 5. It's Prometheus. So, yeah, but I mean, have things got sorted out over that? Because I know that you had the ship thing to kind of get sorted out with the strength of the actual masks themselves to ensure that they could get through the shipping process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the other thing, is that the prototypes that they sent us for the ship, it was just not. It was going to break, and we didn't want that to happen. So we had to get the model of the ship tweaked a little bit and adjusted. So everything is all good to go. However, I'm happy to report. So manufacturing sent us some pictures to finally verify, like, here's the final colors of some stuff. Are you guys fine with that? I'm like, yep, we are. It looks great. So They're going to be hitting the punch button, get that ready to go here soon. I believe we should be sending this out to people in August, which
Yeah.
is a little bit later than we had originally planned, but um, it's going to be a much better product, so that's good.
Yeah, it's always that kind of nervous thing because you've got the money, and then it's a case of, do you sacrifice the delivery date in order to make a better product, or do you one of these guys that say, "Oh, we did our Kickstarter on time, and we're getting out to you on time," and then having people get the box and go, "Oh, somebody's let a baby poo in here."
Exactly. No, and as long as you're being communicative to the audience, I think they've like people have been responding well to it. Like, hey, yeah, they're not on time, but they've been responding to us. They've been very open about what's going on. So it's not like we're taking the money and running. Like we're off getting beers in Tijuana or something like that. Like
No.
we're sending information about it and showing pictures and they're plugged into what's going on. They're very aware of like here's exactly why and the purpose of it all. So I think that helps.
Yeah, but also on the other side of it is that if you're going to be bringing out the next Kickstarter as well, you are almost in some cases hoping that some of these people that have backed the previous games will return and kind of support you on this campaign as well. So I think you being honest and saying, right, okay, this is where we are, this is what we need to do, and we need to make sure we're giving you the best product. I think kind of people appreciate that. I also think that people don't mind if a Kickstarter's late. I don't think they really mind. I think if you've not done a Kickstarter, if you're not backed a Kickstarter before, I think maybe you're kind of like, where's my stuff? But I think if you're kind of like a seasoned veteran, you're kind of like, wow, 6 months late, you really turned it around, kind of thing. But not in a sarcastic way, and as a genuinely kind of, yeah, this
Right.
is how these things kind of work. Um, how long has your cat been involved in the co-design thing? Because
Right. She's very chatty all of a sudden. Like for
it's like
like the
it's
last
like
hour, she's been fine, but now she wants to just
it's
meow
like
nonstop.
what's her name?
Emmer,
Emma.
Emmer.
It's almost a case of what's she saying? Oh, Daddy's on the phone to a Scottish person.
She wants to be a part of the podcast.
Oh my goodness. Well, she can
Cthulhu.
certainly come on. She can certainly come on at any time. Does she play Star Realms?
Let's see. Well, she can paw the screen, so I suppose yes.
Yeah. Oh dear, she'd probably beat me as well. That's the disaster thing about it is that you would give her the kind of the random stuff, and then she'd just be pawing away and going, "Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, 27 damage. That's decent, isn't it? Good kitty."
I've
But
actually seen there are some apps out there for cats. You can actually load onto your iPad. My day job is I'm an iPad developer, like software developer,
yeah,
and who was it? I can't remember. So it was like a cat food company that put these out, just to see if like cats would respond to it. And there are things like like there's fish swimming around. You can get the cats to paw the fish and actually like hit them and respond. So there's if you're interested in cat apps, they're out there.
are you? I mean, are you going to be developing these? Have you thought? Have you got your own range of cat apps that you're planning?
Well, see, I think there's an untapped market in the board game industry for pet designated board games.
I've seen a lot of people that put pictures of their cats, try to play board games with them on Instagram, um, and I think that is a hidden market. I think there's definitely kind of some kind of you kind of go around the club,
Right?
you have your cat basket, and everybody lines up. There's a 5 player game. Everybody lines up the cat basket. You put the board in the middle, which is a circle, and then you just put the stuff out there. And you just let all the cats go because that's going to work out kind of really, really, really well. There's all there's all these kind of untapped markets. But what would you call it? I don't know.
Oh gosh,
Catastrophe. There you go.
catastrophe. There you go.
There you go.
That's the
That's it.
name.
Done. Job done. Job done. Let's get it designed next week.
I'll start on the design doc right away.
Let's get this done, Sean. We have to get it done. One day, right? I'm going to come out with an idea, right, and it's going to be an absolute killer, and use all are going to be regretting not making it. It's going to be it's going to be the thing that breaks Kickstarter. Well,
Exactly.
something's going to break Kickstarter. I'll probably end up breaking. I'll probably end up kind of breaking Kickstarter anyway as it goes. I mean, you obviously you tackled kings, you tackled pirates, and now you're and now you're tackling marine wildlife, with your latest game, which is all about the seals of Cthulhu. Sean, Sean, Sean.
Yes.
I have gone through the deck of cards because you were gracious enough to send us a kind of a copy to kind of look over and obviously give our opinion on it because like everybody's interested in that. There's no seals in the Seals of Cthulhu.
They might have escaped in transit.
Sean,
Seals can be really wet and slippery.
Sean, there's no seals in the Seals of Cthulhu. How can you be releasing a game to the general public and the title itself is a lie? Because I unwrapped all your little baggies and I took like the little string off the other thing, which I'm not going to say what it is. I'll leave that to other people's imagination. There's no kind of related to dog like marine animals in the entire box, and also I've seen the artwork and not such a thing. So what's going on?
It might have been lost in translation.
I just really don't, I just like trusted you. And I opened the box and I was like, okay, here we go. Where's the fish meeples? No fish meeples. Okay, where's the ball meeples? No ball meeples. Why is there a big thing about elder gods in here? throw that to one side and out the way. So what's the game about? It's obviously not about marine life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We thought about it, but decided to go with the whole Cthulhu thing instead.
Yeah. Oh right, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
okay.
Oh my gosh! And getting to that title, like that wasn't our first go-to. It was
What
man.
was the first one?
There
Penguins
was
of
three
Cthulhu.
Circus Seals of Cthulhu.
That's
Um,
brilliant.
it was Battle for Arkham, which I liked the punch that title had, but the the lawyer person that we frequently talk to whenever we're dealing with titles, came back and was like, yeah, that's going to be problematic, both from the Warner Brothers and their control over like all things Batman
Mm-hmm.
and Arkham related, as
Oh
well as
goodness,
Fantasy
yeah,
Flight having their control over stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can sometimes get Arkham through, but you open yourself up to potential litigation and cease and desist and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, ugh, that sucks. Okay, so we're gonna have to come up with a different name, and we batted around a bunch of different ideas, and we finally settled on Seals of Cthulhu. The idea being that the cards themselves are essentially those seals. They're hidden away. They're a doorway to all these powers that can exist, and
Mm-hmm.
if you can summon them together, you can open the seals, and you open these powers. You open these abilities in the game.
And I mean, where'd you get the idea? I mean, what? I mean, it's a fairly. I mean, I do see kind of a lot of. There's like as a genre, it's a relatively kind of popularist kind of genre. So what made you guys kind of sit down and say, right, this is the next game that we're going to be doing? I mean, where did the original idea come from, or has it already been sitting there for a while?
The idea for the game I had a long time ago. It's kind of an interesting story. When I came up with the idea, it was basically I had this notion of I have something which you want, and you have something which I want, but those things that we have aren't really worth a whole lot to us as an individual. So there seemed to be something interesting there in that sort of like bartering back and forth of I've got control over you, I've got some influence over you because of what I have, and so I went home and I mocked up the game with these blank cards and tried it out, and it was terrible. I hated it. It was just boring and it was terrible. So I took all the cards, like, whatever, this is a terrible idea, and I shoved it away in my designer box and forgot about it for, oh gosh, a good 8, 9 months or so. And then I was going over to a game night with some friends and happened to see those cards. And so I sat
Mm-hmm.
down, like, oh, I remember this game, it's terrible. And and then I started kind of like flipping through them, and all of a sudden I had this moment of just inspiration, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I know how to fix this. I think I know what this is missing. And so I ran back to the table and I quickly mocked them up and ran off to our game night.
Yeah.
And before we started, I'm like, okay, and I know we're going to play these games and whatever, but I need to sit down and play this with you guys and find out if this is fun at all. It's going to be completely unbalanced and wildly broken and all that kind of stuff. But is there anything fun in here? And they played it, and sure enough, that kernel of fun, that element that wasn't there before, suddenly was, and I was super excited. Like, okay, great, it's there. And so then my business partner and I sat down. We started talking through, what sort of theme matches with what you're doing in this game. This push pull back and forth tug of war, and a cultist and an investigator seem to really work well for that, because you've got these diametrically opposed goals, and
Mm-hmm.
you're working against each other. You know that, like, well, this person has some influence over me, and this person, my opponent has influence over me, and I've got influence over them, and that back and forth struggle seemed to work really well with the Cthulhu mythos, and so that opened up a lot of opportunities of where I could take the design from there.
Because it's not just about. I mean, the base game is basically, you know, um, it's all about kind of claiming the ability to kind of claim cards, and then you offering somebody here have all this influence, and them deciding whether or not they're gonna kind of take the influence and give you the card, or they're gonna not, and then it kind of ramps up between bidding, and then. But the interesting side of it was that the cards themselves come into play. So the first round is basically, well, how many meeples have I got? The second and third round is, well, I've not only got these meeples, but I've also got these cards as well, which then change the game to add a bigger strategy element, which is kind of more kind of interesting. I mean, was that something else? Was that something that you added, or was that something that was already in the original game that you just hadn't kind of perfected or honed?
So the thing that I that I added was the element that each card had that second ability. So each card has a victory point value on it, and
Mm-hmm.
then the currency value of that card was the piece that was missing. And so when I added that in, like, okay, that's what kind of balances it out. That's what makes it interesting, because your cards in your hand, uh, each player has basically an inverse of each other. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got a card. Say you're the cultist. You've got a card that's more focused around cultist abilities, and the victory point value on that card is going to be worth a lot to you. But you know that currency wise, it's not going to be worth that much. I've got the other half of that card. Currency wise, I know you really want it, so it's worth a lot to me. But
Yeah.
victory point value, it's not worth that much. And that polar opposite of each other really kind of makes it really interesting. And the third item is each card having an ability. Once we settled on, like, let's go, follow this kind of Cthulhu mythos element, then I started thinking about, okay, what kind of things would work with this mechanic and also stay true to the Cthulhu realm, and having the powers be triggered off having both halves of that card really created a lot of interesting choices to make, a lot of strategy elements.
Yeah, because there's things. I mean, one of the things that was kind of interesting about it was the combinations. Because at the beginning you're like, well, how's this going to work? And then you realise that you can do combinations of cards that keep cards kind of flipping back and forward in order to break your opponent's combinations in order to stop them from gaining more influence and therefore claiming stuff and then having more victory points at the end of the day as well. So, I mean, when you're doing something, because there's not a massive number of cards in this deck. it's when you're opening it up, you're not like, opening up a huge number of cards here. Um, it's not a big game. It seems to be kind of like a very decent competitive, but there's more kind of depths of strategy as you're going on. I mean, was that something that you were very conscious of trying to do when you were putting it together, or is it something that evolved as you kind of went?
It definitely evolved. I didn't set out to go, okay, I'm going to create this super highly strategic game. Um, as we evolved the game and went through the design process and tweaked and adjusted things, that kind of opened up, and it was really cool to see people, all my game testers and play testers, kind of seeing that and kind of opening their eyes and go, wow, there's a lot of depth here, there's a lot of strategy here with just the few cards that you're able to play, and
Mm-hmm.
having those few cards actually makes it even more crunchy because every decision you make has a big impact on the game. So, you know, the whether you're going to try and bluff your opponent because you want to try and get more influence, so you've got more currency to be able to bid stronger on another card, has
Mm-hmm.
a huge impact. So games can be kind of swingy if you're not careful. But if both players are really playing strategically, typically it's like a 1, 2, maybe 3 point victory difference.
And is that? I mean, have you had to? Okay, have you had to take stuff out then? I mean, is there a danger with creating a card where you've got kind of like multiple abilities to add in additional cards to say, well, this card could do that, this card could do this card could do that? Have you had to be quite strict with the the cards that you've put in there, and also the kind of the different kind of mechanics that they introduce to the game as well?
Absolutely, because that I wanted the economy to be super tight, and I had a couple of people in the earlier days when we were testing say, well, you should add more meeples in there, open up the currency. I'm like, no, 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 no. I want you at some point to feel like you have to start bidding with your cards, and I want that to be a viable strategy. I've had games where I've given away all my meeples, and I've been able to win just by bidding, careful bidding and strategic bidding with my cards to be able to manipulate the player through that mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So because things are so tight, uh, it's really important to watch the power creep and the victory point swings on each one, and one small adjustment can have a big impact. So anytime I do a tweak, like, well, okay, I'm going to make the victory point on this one more. Okay, now I have to do a lot of playtesting to make sure that doesn't cause any kind of big swings or balances.
And I guess the other thing is with the playtesting. I mean, what I've seen on social media a lot is you seem to have playtested this a fair amount. Kind of, I see a lot of people talking about kind of having a game. Was that have you done more playtesting for this than you have, say, with the other games that you've done before?
Have I done more? I don't think I've done more. I want all of our games as Think 12 to be rock solid. I don't want people to go, wow, there's this really huge imbalance. There's this massively broken piece, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't find that out unless you just get out there and grunt work, do all the playtesting and beta testing. Um, so I do that for all of our games, regardless of how deep or how light the game may be. Click Click Boom was another example of one of our games. It's a lighter party style game, but we did a whole ton of playtesting with that just to make sure that there weren't any big issues with the gameplay. There was nothing that was kind of out of balance with the little player powers that were a part of that game as well.
And with you, I mean, with you doing the playtesting, was there are you thinking expansions and additional cards and things like that you would maybe want to bring in once people have kind of played the base game?
Yes. So in the base game, there's additional cards that will be unlocked through Kickstarter, and that's with all the Elder Gods. So the base game has Cthulhu, because you can't have a Cthulhu game without the big man himself, and
Mm-hmm.
and one of the Shoggoths, and then there's more Elder Gods that you can add in. But each time you add in a card, you have to remove something, so it maintains that 6 card hand balance. Um,
Yeah.
there are other Elder Gods I want to add in, and there's a different mechanic that I've been wanting to play with, but First, I'm going to see how this game does, and if it does great and people like it, then we'll be able to do some expansions and bring in some new things. As long as we'll have to do a lot of playtesting to make sure it doesn't cause any imbalances. But I've got some plans for it for sure.
Okay, okay. And I mean, have you tried to mix the theme in as much as possible? Because I think there's sometimes a difficulty with I guess lighter games to make sure that the theme is kind of almost embroidered into the kind of the mechanics as well, and make sure it's kind of represented well on the cards. Is that I mean is it things like that you kind of have to take into consideration as well when you're putting the game together?
For me, yes, I'm very much a pro theme person. Like I want theme to be very high in the games. This was a rare circumstance where a mechanic was the driving force of a game rather than the theme first. Most of my designs have been I've come up with the theme like, oh, this seems like a really cool idea
Mm-hmm.
thematically, and then I figure out ways to make that happen. This
Mm-hmm.
was Here's an interesting mechanic. How can I come up with a theme to make this work as well? So all of the abilities in the game have been very tied thematically back to the Cthulhu mythos. So, um, Cthulhu's power is very thematic to what he represents. Shub-Niggurath is very uh, part of what they do. Nyarlathotep, the King in Yellow,
Yeah.
has to like. I wanted to make sure that the the powers that work within the game somehow fit back with the theme so that it doesn't feel like, well, it's just this pasted on thing. They just took a picture and put it on this card.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's a difficult. I think it's a difficult thing to do. I think there's a difficulty between creating something new and inventive and um, having like a theme or having that and then making sure that it sometimes can work or there is a kind of a connection with the mechanics as well. I mean, were you in terms of the kind of the how quickly the game plays because the game it's not a it seems to be a game that can either take 20 minutes to play or it could take even longer to play. Just with, I guess, and that'll increase depending on how often you kind of play the game. But I mean, when you were first putting the game down there, was the kind of the accessibility to the game, the ability to understand the game as quickly as possible, was that one of the goals as well, so people would actually get it to the table and play it?
Yes, anytime I do playtesting, players understanding what they're doing is a big importance for me,
Mm-hmm.
especially with lighter games. Like I say lighter, and like there's a lot of crunchy decisions you have to make in this game, but it's something that because you can play quickly, I wanted it to be something that you could teach to someone fairly
Mm-hmm.
quickly as well. And I think that has come through pretty well in all the playtests I've done. Uh, do a quick explanation and they get it. And I've had people beat me the first time that they're playing the game. Like that's great. That's so awesome because if I'm beating everyone every single time, like, well, there's
Mm-hmm.
some sort of problem there. I feel. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want this to be chess. Where it's like I'm the grandmaster and nobody can beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! I made a game that I'm super good at. Huzzah!
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think that the thing
Is
that
it?
really kind of makes that is the fact that every time you're doing that blind bidding process, because you're
Mm-hmm.
never quite sure what the person is doing. Like you might
Yeah.
have a good idea, but
Yeah.
they could throw you a wrench and be like, "Wow, I didn't think you were going to do that. I thought you were going to do this other thing. Oh crap,
Yeah.
I totally overspent on this."
Yeah, because that's the whole thing is that you can end up trying to get somebody to commit and then they overcommit and then it's like, well, that's fine. I'll just take all that influence and then you can have this kind of almost like this card here and then people will be like, oh damn, I didn't kind of really want that, and then the next round you can just kind of like smack them down because you've got not only your influence but you've got the card and you can kind of take them to town. But it does seem to be built so that it's quite easy to switch back and forward so that the lead can change very quickly over kind of like 2 or 3 rounds. That there doesn't seem to be like almost like a kind of a runaway winner again. I mean, is that something you kind of get through repeated playtesting? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll see like turn three, you're like, okay, I've probably got this, and and it comes out just like that because they made some really bad choices. But the
Mm-hmm.
game's quick enough that they can go, okay, well, I see where I screwed up. I see what I did wrong. Now
Mm-hmm.
we can play again, and it's like 15, 20 minutes, and we'll be able to get through another game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Has the have you had to be conscious about how you're going to be marketing it on the build up to the kind of the Kickstarter kind of campaign? Doing something different from the dice, the dice of brand that you kind of been building up. Was it kind of did that factor into kind of like your kind of approach, or have you kind of been looking at it and saying, well, this is the next kind of thing, 12 games that's coming out, and this is the theme, and we hope you kind of really like it.
Well, I mean, you always want to tailor how you market something to the audience that is going to like that thing, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm doing more of a party style game, the people that I contact, the way that I present the game, all that sort of stuff has to marry that and be appropriate for that audience.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't send Click Click Boom to Heavy Cardboard, for example, right?
No.
But I've set this off to different reviewers that I know really like thinky games, really like high strategy games because I feel
Yeah.
like this is something in their wheelhouse. So definitely like targeting, where you're touching base with people and how you're presenting things. We have this tick down image that we've created um, for the Kickstarter campaign, starting
Mhm.
day 6, day 5. We just posted day
Yeah.
5 today, and it actually has this piece that changes. And so if you go back and you'll watch this thing have this really kind of like um, it almost tells a story in a way through the presentation, and it's really kind of this dark and mysterious sort of thing. Again, funneling back into the theme and the people that like this sort of stuff.
I mean, in terms of, I guess having a couple of successful campaigns under your belt, are you quietly confident, or are you still thinking, well, there is still a big hill to kind of climb here, because the Kickstarter landscape seems to be still very, very competitive. So
It's
is it?
definitely very competitive for sure, and I never feel like, oh, this is in the bag. Like I think if you do that, you are destined for problems, regardless of whatever you're putting out. I mean, I feel like I know this is a solid game because of all the reviews I've got back from playtesters and watched the responses. I've been
Mm-hmm.
getting feedback from people that have been reviewing it, and it's been reviewing well, so that's great,
Yeah.
but you're never 100% sure. So, you know, I never just take it easy and like, oh, this will just sail. Like, I always, any of our campaigns that we do, like, it's, pedal to the metal and full bore, and we're just going to bust our butts to try and get it out there and do the best for it. And I think that shows other people that we're serious about this, that we're not just fly by night. We're not just whatever. We are as committed to our games being successful and our games being fun and engaging with players as we are with everything that we're doing.
But I mean, are you still gonna? Is there still gonna be a bit of like squeaky bum time when you press the go button to see how things gonna go?
Oh yes, yes. I can always start to feel the nerves start to kind of like build up, and by the time Tuesday hits, I'll be a complete wreck. And like Tuesday
You'd be
morning at
crying.
8 is when 8 PST is when we're gonna hit the button, and I'm gonna be a big wreck. So that's gonna be fun. But we're doing a big party, big launch party, so that'll be interesting as well.
Is it still? I mean, it must still be exciting though. I mean,
It
I
is.
know there's the nerves and the intrepidation, and you're like, oh my goodness, I've left out, the most important part of the whole game, which is the seals. Um, which I'm hoping you're correct. Oh, please make this a stretch goal. Please actually put a wooden seal in. That would be so funny. This, even if you put it in that it's worth like 2 influence,
Oh, that'd be amazing.
that would be
Um,
amazing, wouldn't it? It'd be really serious, just like that. And you get an official seal of Cthulhu, and
there
you can
are
have like little tentacles on it. I'll draw it for you, Sean.
sweet.
I'll design it for you. I will design a seal of Cthulhu for you.
There
I've
are
not.
some secrets, some special things that we are planning for the game that My finance person has been trying to spoil, but I've been having to shut him down, uh,
Is he
which is
like doing
weird.
he's doing like the Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, he's totally like, oh my god, shut up! Don't talk about this.
Oh, did you see that? Did you
Yes.
see the video of Mark Ruffalo kind of like them talking? He was talking about Infinity War like last year or something. He just managed to drop like. And the funniest thing about this is beep, and then he's just like, "What are you doing?" It's just fantastic. Oh, it's the whole thing was. Oh yeah, the whole thing was absolutely just really really yeah funny. So, what do you do with spoiler stuff? I mean, do you paint them green and make them stand outside until they're a proper influence?
Basically, yes. It's tough because he's like, oh, we got to tell these people. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is really cool. Like, there's something that we want to bring to the game. It's one of our stretch goals that I haven't seen done in a game ever in the way that we're doing, which is kind of cool. So hopefully we'll be able to unlock that stretch goal.
But there's no seals.
I'm not going to say anything.
That's not a, oh my goodness, that's not a yes. I cannot right, okay, that's fine. You know. You've
I
got I've
plead the
not
fifth.
you can't no, you're not you're in my house now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We had this decision. Don't be coming across here with your little flipping amendments and stuff like that and your rights and things like that,
Oh,
You're in the UK, you're in Scotland. That's it, you're in trouble.
uh-oh. I'm not in
Um
Kansas anymore.
Definitely not in Kansas. Oh my goodness. Um, how much is it going to be for people to step over the door of the large tentacled one?
$12, which is insanely low for what we want to do with this game. Um, that was a plan on ours. My finance person's been running all the numbers, and we're actually giving, I want to say it's a 50% discount off the MSRP. So the MSRP is going to be $24, $25. So the Kickstarter base backer level is going to be 12, which is insane. That's just
That's
crazy.
no. I thought you said for a second it was gonna be $12.
$12. Yep,
No,
that's
again,
the
twelve
base.
dollars.
$12 is going to be the base backer level. Yep.
And how much is the shipping?
Shipping is
Put you on the spot now,
I
eh?
I don't know. He's got the numbers on that one.
Yes, victory. That'll teach you.
Crap, I don't have that one.
That'll teach you. It's okay, I can edit this out. I'm not editing it out, Sean. There's no way I'm editing this out.
But shipping will be
Do you know what I
affordable.
mean?
We're definitely focused on doing the friendly shipping kind of stuff because
Yeah, of course, yeah,
we don't want,
absolutely.
oh hey, it's a $12 game and it costs me $70 to ship it. Like, well, that's just not a viable
That'd be
option.
so brilliant. Can you imagine that? People go $12. I'm on there. I'm on there. $75 to ship. Well, these things are heavy.
These seals are going to ship themselves.
You need a box that when you open it, it goes. Roar, 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 roar.
Like the
I've got
exploding
so many
kittens
ideas.
box.
You should have come to me like 6 months, and I would have like the ideas we would have had. There would have been a little. There would have been a little info. There would have been a seal, and then there would have been a little round meeple you would have put on top. And if it balanced during the round, you would have got extra influence. And I can't even talk about it. I feel insulted that the seal's not going to be in there. When are you going to be? When you launching?
May 22nd, Tuesday, May 22nd, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when we're going to punch the go button. So with Kickstarter, you never really know exactly when it's going to hit, but by 9 a.m. PST, it should be live.
Awesome, awesome. And where can people find you if they're not seal lovers on the internet? If they want to find where you are.
Let's see. Instagram is at Thing12Games. Twitter is at Thing12Games. Facebook is Thing12Games. I think you see a pattern here.
Could be Think 12 Games, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So 22nd of May, $12 is going to get you through the door. If you're interested in a game that's kind of like 2-player, competitive, has you thinking, can be changing back and forward, but isn't going to take ages to learn, but is going to take a little while to master, then jump on the Seals of Cthulhu, because it sounds like it could be a little bit of a blast. I'm obviously having to remain impartial. Do you know what I mean? Can I just ask a question? And this is going to sound totally kind of strange for people that are listening until they actually see the game. Did you hand burn every single one of those things in the box?
I completely did, and I had the singed fingers to prove it.
Oh my goodness, really? It was a little bit of pain. Was it your
Well,
Star Realms finger that you hurt yourself? No.
no, I had to save that one for kicking your butt with.
Jeez. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. As if you want to keep an eye on where we're up to, go to Google, search We're Not Wizards. You'll find us everywhere. Leave us a rating and a review in iTunes, and go and find us on Stitcher and Twitter, things, stuff, social media. Come on, guys, it's been 180 episodes. You know where we are now. If you don't know where we are, then that's fine. I'm really sorry, but we'll put notes in the show notes so that you have notes to show, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to do this differently, I guess. No, anyway, it doesn't matter. Next time, it's fine. Thank you for coming on, Sean. You're an absolute delight to always speak to. It's just always fun. I enjoy our continual Twitter banter regarding the realms of stars, which is always fun. And remember, there's still a long war to go with this, so you watch your back. That's all I'm saying to you. Watch your back, Epperson, because one day you're going to turn around and all you're going to hear is, draw, you blob. Green fighter thing, you can't hide behind your little special tricks all the time. You just want a straight fight. Next time it's a straight fight. Stop doing all your gambits and your special heroes and stuff. That's why I keep rejecting you. I'm just saying this in public.
I've noticed
See you
that.
do a straight fight in Star Realms. Come on, I'll see you man to man. Definitely. Seals of Cthulhu, 22nd of May, $12. Take a look at it, because it's fun. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there. And check out all the stuff. Go and search Thing12 Games. Follow Sean on Twitter, because he's a pro follow. He's a really, really nice guy. Brings a lot of kind of laughter and joy and tears to my life, to be perfectly honest, but you can't have everything.
It's the up and the down.
It is the up and the down. It's the yin and the yang. It's me crying over a phone. It's lucky my phone's one of those waterproof ones, because every single time I lose at Star Realms, I'm like, it's okay. Thank you very, very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, sir. Appreciate it.
And there's only 2 more things to do. Remember, the first thing is that we are many things, but we're definitely going to win the next game of Star Realms. Isn't that right, Sean?
Yes, we are.
Yes, shut up. And the second thing is to say goodbye. So say goodbye, loser.
Goodbye, lizard.
Damn it. And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll 6s. Strong worded complaints in the comments about the lack of seals, please. That'd be good. But until the next time, goodbye.